Hi guys, can you hear me? Just drop a text or something. Okay, that's cool. I'm just waiting for Single Yejit to join as well because they just wanted to check out on divergence. So just wanted to do some sort of a live explanation if you're interested. So yeah, you're definitely free to stick around. Yeah, you can actually switch to coffee. That's a good idea. Let's do this. Yeah, it looks definitely like a double bottom, and probably a good example as well to go through the divergence, as we got a few good example recently. So let's check that. So it's the 4 hours chart. Yeah, just wait just a bit longer to see if we can get Yejit joining. But yeah, the idea behind the divergence, as you already probably know, but you basically look at lower lows on the price, similar where what we got here between 105 on coffee and 103, and then you look on the same time on the RSI. So that one is just a standard 14 period RSI. You plug it in, and then you look at the momentum that's actually not able to make lower low, as the price is actually making. So that's the principle behind it. So you can use the MACD. I don't, but I know some traders like this better, or the RSI. There's even some other indicators you might be able to use, but I use the RSI because I found it relatively reliable. And one question, I was just checking. Yeah. One question I got from Yejid was that when you trade the divergence, what is the target when you actually clear up the divergence? So um, usually what I do is when you see the first divergence, so here we got that first one low at 111 roughly, and then we got another one at 109, and that's the origin of the divergence. So usually when you get the divergence pushing through like this, you will look for the price to go back up to the origin of the divergence. So the first touch, potentially even the origin of the peak. So from here we got 111. So you look at the origin of that move and you retrace that to the upside, and then you get the origin point, that's 118. So that's where that target is coming from when I'm saying that we would be actually clearing the divergence. Um, is it clear? Uh, okay, that's cool. Um, yeah, so we can look at some examples. So for that one we're having here, now we're also having what we call the morning star pattern forming. It's almost complete now. We need to wait a few hours, but it looks quite positive. Double bottom, so that's very a good reversal figure, and the divergence been holding on for quite some time. So from here, that would be the first target. Doesn't mean it will stop at 118, because if we take the previous divergence, I think that one was also forming falling wedge, very similar was the previous one on 9095. We had a very clean divergence from that drop here. So that one didn't last for so long. So when it did touch the first time, or we did actually get a first one roughly here with that drop to 95. Then we got another push to 93 that did actually set up. So for example here, when you take the divergence and that first contact you're having on that trend line here, it's not because you're actually breaking the trend line that it's over. You need to look if the divergence is still valid, even if the price is pushing low, say until here in terms of the momentum. As long as we are not actually crossing that level here on the previous low on the RSI, it means that the divergence is still valid. So of course it's better when it does actually stop on the trend line, but that's not always the case. And even for coffee now, we could see a push a bit lower. Doesn't mean the divergence is invalidated. But back to that example here, we can see that the target, since we did trigger from 96, we were looking at the first target at 105, and that's exactly where we got with the first swing. But it doesn't mean that the price will actually stop there. As we can see, it was only the start of a really big move to the upside. So either you take a profit here and you wait for some potential second divergence on the pullback, and we got one here, but that one's not that reliable, and then you got the other shoot to the upside that's of course going much higher than the origin of the divergence. So this is more a signal that's actually telling you the reversal will happen and that you're going to reach the origin here, but does it stop here? It's not really, maybe not. Have you got any question, or is it clear enough, or? probably just wait a bit. You can stay long, but I might just go through the same explanation anyway. What could take another example maybe on crude oil. I mean that one was the divergence, the daily divergence we had in place that we might have cleared up today. I didn't actually check it. That was a major trade to take, but very difficult because you had to hang around for a really long time. So we originally on the daily chart, if it does come, we had that very big rising wedge here that did actually start. I think it was back in June this year. It did last for quite some time, and we can see on the RSI. I might just clean down a bit, but together with that move to the upside, we could see that the momentum couldn't really pick up to the upside anymore, and at some point we were running out of momentum completely and no more buyers there. It did actually break the rising wedge. That was a very interesting trade, and if we take the origin of the divergence, we are back down technically to 34.5, so we almost touched that point today at 35, so cannot exclude another move to the downside. But if we now zoom in on WTI, I think the 1 hour doesn't actually show divergence, but we're having one on the 30 minutes. So the lower the time frame, the less reliable, because it will be easier to invalidate should the momentum picks up on the other side. So we can see here, it's not a proper. Yeah, it's not really neat. I mean, yeah. Could actually bounce from here and revisit higher level, potentially that line, but yeah, we need to see if it doesn't actually go down one more time to set another divergence. That would be a little bit cleaner, but yeah, not the perfect example, but the one on the daily is actually quite definitely quite interesting. As you can see that the target was definitely valid, even if he looked at that time very optimistic to actually get that low, but the price did finally actually came to that level. How long? That's a good question. I've been trading for quite some time, for years and years, trading stocks, but more likely just basically just buying levels, support and resistance, not really looking into more details. So looking at the technical analysis, I would say probably 2 years, 1 year really looking into developing into proper system and learning more about how to actually get some trigger for positions. So many years, I would say, but on the system I'm trading at the moment, it's more about, I would say, 1 year old somehow. Have you got any other question? I think was waiting for Yejid, but anyway, that doesn't matter. At least if I could share that and that's of interest, that's cool. I'll just do another one when it'll be available. That's no issue. Yeah, you have any other question, or I think that's in principle what the divergence is. Of course, there's some tricks about it because you want to avoid the false divergence. There are many bad signal you get as well trading divergence as you are lowering the time frame. Of course, it gets less and less reliable. Good example here. If you were to trade that one here, you had some divergence here on the 1 hour. but that kind of divergence after such a big drop, and then you just go with two candles and another drop, and you don't actually see the pickup on momentum. It's these are very low chance to actually win on this, especially since you're not sitting on the major support, so usually not trading that kind of setup. But the best ones are daily divergence, but you need to be patient until it does actually trigger some proper trade, as we've seen just on crude oil. Okay, cool. Thanks for watching. I'll probably do another one when I'll go through that again for other people that could be interested. Yeah, so if you don't have any other question, thanks for watching, and I speak to you soon. Cheers, bye.